Hello, friends. Each of us has a goal in life. If you're a college student, you have assignments that need to be completed. If exams are approaching, you make a promise to yourself. You'll prepare as best as you can so that you can ace them. If you're looking for a job, you want to prepare thoroughly for it. But then, why don't we actually do it? We're just waiting for you to take action. It takes only a moment to decide what we want to achieve. But when it comes to actually doing the work, we fall short. There's always this inner voice that whispers, you can do it tomorrow. And just like that, we convince ourselves it's okay to relax on Instagram, scroll endlessly online, or laugh at YouTube videos. While we keep postponing to tomorrow, we end up wasting today. And truth be told, tomorrow never really comes. There's a word for this in English. Why do humans procrastinate? In today's video, let's explore the science behind procrastination, its psychology, and most importantly, the real solution to finally overcome it. One powerful example is Abraham Lincoln. Born in a log cabin with barely a year of formal education, Lincoln studied by candlelight after long hours of work. Had he waited for perfect conditions, history may never have seen one of its greatest leaders. His journey proves that self-discipline, not convenience, is the real foundation of success. Today we'll talk about laziness. I've always been lazy. My parents tried to fix me, but they're lazy too. Some people have a deep desire to rest and do nothing. In the end, nothing changes. You will fail inside your comfort zone. Tomorrow, I'll be doing what I should have done 2 days ago. What really goes on in the mind of procrastinators? Why are we like this? Rich people don't sleep for 8 hours a day. Some people just eat, sleep, and leave everything up to fate. History of procrastination, friends. This video isn't going to be just another motivational speech, because I believe that motivation is a short-lived feeling. Maybe you'll feel pumped after watching a video. You'll even start working seriously for a few hours. Or maybe you'll stay driven for a couple of days. But then it fades, and your motivation crashes. So instead of temporary motivation, let's dig into the root cause of procrastination using science. Dr. Piers Steel is one of the top researchers in the world, specializing in the science of motivation and procrastination. He has spent more than a decade studying this. According to him, procrastination isn't a modern problem. It's been around for ages. Back in 1400 BC, Egyptian hieroglyphs were found talking about it. A University of Toronto Egyptologist translated one of them. Friends, stop putting off work and allow us to go home in good time. Around 800 BC, a Greek poet said something similar. And here in India, centuries ago, Saint Kabir shared this timeless advice. Do tomorrow's work today and today's work now. If the moment is lost, when will the work be done? He made it clear, don't put off your work, not even for a few hours. Because if a sudden catastrophe strikes, you might lose your chance to finish it forever. This truth has been echoed by poets and speakers for generations. Yet today, procrastination has become worse. According to Dr. Steele, in the last 40 years, chronic procrastination has increased by 300% to 400%. Today, almost half of the world's population procrastinates regularly. But why do we do this? Let's understand it more deeply. Think about the things you tend to procrastinate on. Studying for exams, preparing for a job interview, doing office work, exercising, handling emotional responsibilities. Now think, have you ever procrastinated while scrolling Instagram or while watching comedy videos? We only procrastinate when a task is important, something that demands mental, emotional, or physical effort. And instead, we choose something easier and more fun, like scrolling or watching a movie. Deadlines play a huge role here. If there's a deadline, we put things off until the last possible moment. Say you have a presentation due tomorrow. Even on the morning of the deadline, you'll feel like scrolling Instagram for just 5 minutes. And somehow that 5 minutes turns into an hour. I've explained this in detail in my video on social media addiction. These apps are designed to grab your attention. Once you open them, it's hard to let go. Even if you finally start working, hunger kicks in, so you raid the fridge. Then, to set the mood for productivity, you open a comedy video. And there goes another hour. Then you feel tired and decide to take a shower to refresh yourself. Hours pass, day turns to night. Suddenly the panic sets in. Only 12 hours left. You start working at midnight and pull an all-nighter. This reminds us of Victor Hugo. To fight his own procrastination, Hugo would lock away his clothes so he couldn't leave home. Wrapped in a blanket, he wrote some of the greatest novels in history. Sometimes beating laziness takes bold, uncomfortable steps. The crisis loop, from college to life. Several studies have explored procrastination among college students, such as the ones by Ellis and Naus, 1977, and O'Brien, 2002. They found that 80% to 90% of students procrastinate. In college, you might lose marks from procrastination. In life, you lose opportunities, dreams, and sometimes even health or relationships. You'll hear people say, "I wanted to be a singer, a filmmaker, an entrepreneur," but it never happened. What they often mean is they never started. Later in life, it's not failure that haunts people. It's regret. Procrastination doesn't just bring lifelong regret. It brings stress, anxiety, and depression. The vicious cycle of guilt. The moment you decide, "I'll start working at 8 p.m., and then don't, you feel guilty. You blame yourself. You say, "Why do I always do this?" You feel lazy, incapable, and even hopeless. That guilt kills your motivation further, so you give up and fall back into distractions, scrolling, binge watching, snacking, anything but the task. And then it repeats the next day, again and again. This is the vicious loop of procrastination. You plan to do something. You delay it. You feel guilty. You distract yourself to avoid guilt. Nothing gets done. Guilt returns, stronger than before. This loop keeps you trapped, not because you're lazy, but because your brain is stuck in this comfort-reward-guilt pattern. One real-life example is Stephen King. He writes 2,000 words a day, no matter what. He doesn't wait for inspiration. He works. His motto, "Amateurs wait, pros work." The secret? Start now, even when you don't feel ready. Emotional damage of procrastination. Procrastination isn't harmless. It leads to stress, anxiety, and even depression. There's a term for this: cognitive dissonance. The discomfort when your actions don't match your intentions. One study showed procrastinators had higher stress, lower well-being, more fatigue and guilt. The brain's tug of war. Your brain has two systems: the prefrontal cortex, logical, future-focused; the limbic system, emotional, pleasure-seeking. When you decide to study or exercise, your prefrontal cortex is in charge. But when the task feels hard or boring, the limbic system takes over, saying, "Let's do something fun instead," like watch a video or eat snacks. The limbic system wants instant gratification, while the prefrontal cortex is about delayed rewards. So when you procrastinate, it's not that you're bad or lazy. It's your emotional brain hijacking your logical brain. But here's the good news: you can train your brain. The real solution: take action, not just inspiration. There's no magic formula, no hack that will suddenly fix you. But there is one simple, powerful truth: action leads to motivation, not the other way around. Don't wait to feel motivated. Start anyway. Tiny steps. One final thought. Don't hate yourself for procrastinating. Even geniuses delay. But the difference is, they don't quit. Don't wait for motivation. Take the smallest action now, because done is always better than perfect. And tiny actions change your life. Someone who lived by this was Mel Robbins. She created the 5-second rule. When you hesitate, count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then move. It works because it breaks the brain's freeze mode. Millions now use it to beat procrastination and build momentum. No more excuses, no more waiting. This is your time. Make it unforgettable. Thanks for watching. If this lit a fire in you, pass it on. And don't forget to subscribe for more motivation.